our agenda. We will be removing that. So we'll just have the companion number 2 and number 3 after these first couple of housekeeping things. So with those changes, is there an approval of the agenda that I hear?
Second.
Motion has been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, the motion passes. Daniel, your microphone is on. All right, if you want to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, stand if you can. Jason, you want to start us? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Fantastic. So the consent agenda was included. That's item number 1, review and approval of the July 6 meeting minutes. What's the pleasure of the commission, or the Planning and Zoning Board, please?
Motion.
Okay, the motion has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any, actually, I'm sorry, it's a consent agenda, so there's no discussion on that. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimous. All right, we'll get into the meat and heart of the meeting, CPA 2615, public hearing and ordinances. Madam Attorney, would you like to read the petition?
I will. This is a legislative petition, CPA 26-15, a petition of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending the future land use map in the comprehensive plan by changing the future land use category from agriculture to commercial on 24.98 acres, identified as tax parcel number 01922-011-000.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. And Ms. Yato, you're walking us through this one? All right.
Okay, so this item is a small scale future land use amendment. And just as a refresher, it's a small scale. That means it is under 50 acres. 50 acres is the large scale threshold, which requires a different level of review for future land use amendments specifically. If it's over 50 acres and it's a large scale, it goes to the state. It's reviewed by Department of Commerce at the state of Florida, and also other review agencies like DOT, DEP, Water Management District, planning councils, and others. So this is a small scale, it's under 50 acres. So the question under consideration is, should the Planning and Zoning Board approve petition number CPA 2615, proposing an amendment to the future land use map from agriculture to commercial? And the recommended motion is to approve the petition because staff finds that the amendment is consistent with, or the petition is consistent with, the comprehensive plan and the land development regulations. So here's an overview of the subject property. You can see it outlined in that pink color with the aerial there. Parcel number is 01922-011-000. The agent or consultant is Menadier Engineering, LLC, and they are here to present. The owner is Cell Ag Land, LLC. It's, again, 24.98 acres. This parcel is in the USA, or the urban services area. And then this is just the before, or the from and the to. It's, you can see it outlined in that darker color, the black. It's agriculture currently, and the proposed is commercial. Oop. And so, again, staff finds that the request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and land development regulations. The next related petition is for the land development regulations, the zoning, and we'll go into impacts to city infrastructure and services that might require improvements and other forms of mitigation. That actually will be addressed at the site development plan review stage. But in the next petition, we'll go over some of the potential uses as well. And then finally, in the submitted application, there was mention of potential cross-access to the southern parcel that's 25 acres, which was changed or amended from agriculture also to commercial, I think last year in 2025. So with this, access and utility connections, potentially connecting via extensions through State Road 26 or Newberry Road, through that southern 25 acres, staff thinks that the subject property should be subject to Gateway Overlay District design criteria, as the southern portion is within the gateway. And so again, the question to consider is, should the Planning and Zoning Board approve petition CPA 2615, proposing an amendment to the future land use map from agriculture to commercial? And we recommend to approve the petition CPA 2615. And the consultant is here to present as well.
Okay, any immediate questions for staff, or you want to wait for the applicant presentation? Wait? Okay. Come on out.
Good evening, board members, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager, Madam Director, Madam Attorney. My name is Sergio Cruz. I'm land planner with Menandir Engineering, and I'm here on behalf of the client to present application CPA 26-15 for approximately 24.98 acres located on State Road 26 with access from Northwest 202nd Street. The request before you is to change the property's future land use designation from agricultural to commercial. We believe that it's appropriate because the property is within the city's urban service area, USA, immediately north of the existing and recently amended commercial property to the south, and near the established commercial pattern that exists within State Road 26. It also creates additional opportunities for local services, employment, and non-residential tax revenue as the city of Newberry continues to grow. This map provides a broader context of the property. You can see the subject property highlighted in a dashed line in red. The property is at Newberry's eastern gateway, again inside the USA, approximately 700 feet from State Road 26. It fronts Northwest 202nd Street, a county collector road that extends all the way up from 441 near High Springs and connects to the state highway. The site adjoins the approximately 25-acre Gateway commercial property to the south and is near Crystal Lake Commercial, Ag Food Tech Innovation Park, and Tanglewood planned development. This context map highlights some of the planned and existing residential developments, as well as some of the commercial that exists along the frontage of State Road 26. This is meant to show that this is not an isolated commercial designation and rather part of the city's existing and planned development pattern that's already coming together. The property contains, again, approximately almost 25 acres under single ownership and is currently open pasture. It has gentle grades and no identified wetlands, streams, or creeks on site. There is an existing communications tower that will be master planned around if it got to that stage, at the site and development stage. And it has a small lease area, roughly 100 by 100 feet, that will remain. City utilities are located within the vicinity of State Road 26, but extensions will be required, and final connection routes, capacity, and any upgrades will be determined during the development review stage, as staff mentioned. Compatibility is the central consideration for this request. Again, the property is located to the east of the US, near the USA of the Newberry, with the south having the commercial future land use designation. There are agricultural and rural residential properties located to the north and east, with the Northwest 202nd Street providing separation to some of the residential uses to the east. Destiny Community Church is to the west, and the request extends the existing commercial pattern north by one parcel. On this map, you can see it highlighted further to the east where the subject property is, and you can see that along State Road 26, to the north and south of it, there is, according to the City of Newberry's future land use map, a clear commercial pattern. And even some of the planned developments like Tanglewood and Highland Park have commercial fronting State Road 26. And this request is in keeping the intensity of commercial development near State Road 26 and inside the USA rather than pushing it further into the rural lands. So these are the four main reasons that we believe the location is appropriate. Number one, it directs growth to where roads and utilities are nearby. Number two, it continues an established commercial pattern that exists within the commercial corridor of State Road 26, instead of creating new rural commercial nodes. Number three, it supports a more balanced tax base with room for local services and employment. especially with all the residential development that is coming in the nearby development. And number 4, it reinforces the USA by reducing development pressures outside of it. So we believe that this approach allows Newberry to plan responsibly and allows for smart growth within the city of Newberry while protecting the rural setting that supports its small town character. We've also analyzed consistency with the comprehensive plan. There are several elements within the comprehensive plan that we believe this request is consistent with, and we just want to touch on a few from the future land use element. Starting with policy 1.2.1 that supports the small town character and limits sprawl, which this request advances by placing growth, again, within the USA. The comprehensive plan also calls for a pro-business environment, tax diversification, and a rational distribution of land uses where infrastructure can support them. So there are utilities being planned to be extended to near the site and extended to the Tanglewood plan development. And the commercial category is also subject to a 80% impervious surface limit and applicable development standards. For goal number 5, it specifically identifies the USA as a tool for focusing growth and preserving rural areas beyond it. So again, we are within the USA limits. We also identified consistency with the transportation, utilities, and economic development elements. Access will come from Northwest 202 Street rather than directly from State Road 26. And as staff mentioned, cross-access can be considered at the site development stage if need be. Traffic studies and any roadway improvements would also be addressed during the development review phase, with water and wastewater extensions, final capacities, and any upgrades likewise resolved through concurrency. On this map, you see the approximate location of the 8-inch sanitary sewer force main and approximate location of the 12-inch water main. These are under development and would be potential connection points to serve the subject property. Also within the city limits and economically, this request creates room for businesses and services in a location that follows the city's planned growth pattern, with the commercial designation also having the possibility of providing uses to serve the needs of the planned Tanglewood development, for example, or any of the residential developments that may come in the future, but also the residents that currently exist within the area. As staff mentioned, we briefly did a preliminary analysis of the potential impacts to the public facilities, and this was used, we used the maximum development potential, the 272,000 square feet, which is a conservative assumption. This would be the max build out. It's depending on the site and development phase, it's unlikely that it would be built to the 272,000 square feet. However, we use this conservative assumption to showcase that the project would still remain within the adopted level of service D standard. And estimated potable water and wastewater demand would still be met. And these are planning estimates and not final reservations. Actual traffic, utility capacity, stormwater, and required improvements will be reviewed at the development stage. And based on the current analysis, no public facilities would be subject to fall under the adopted standard. Based on staff's findings and recommendations, they determined that the proposed amendment is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan, land development regulations, and strategic plan. Staff also made it clear that the land use change does not by itself grant any development entitlements, and any development would still be required with the companion rezoning and to have a separate site plan and review process. So in summary, we believe that the request is consistent with the comprehensive plan, that it is adjacent to commercial designation and near the established State Road 26 corridor. It supports the city's land use, transportation, utility, and economic development policies, and still leaves site-specific questions for later review. And we request the Planning and Zoning Board recommend approval of the CPA 2615. And I thank you, and if you have any questions, please let me know.
All right. What was your name again?
Sergio Cruz.
Sergio Cruz.
Yes, sir.
Great job.
Thank you.
Very good. You look like you're 15 years old. How many times have you actually given these presentations, for crying out loud? I got your picture on the wall over there at Manager Engineering yet?
Yeah, not yet.
Oh.
I'm working towards that. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So what questions we have on the board? Go ahead, Jason.
So you were talking about the ingress, egress, 202 and 26.
Yes, sir.
Have there been any preliminary discussions with Alachua County or Florida DOT in regards to that?
At this stage, there have not been any
No.
conversations
Okay.
with, but we would have them at the
Yeah,
at their
yeah,
stage.
that's just, I know 202, especially with the roundabout, that road was very heavily traveled, and I heard a lot of complaints, and that's one thing I worry about is more, more trips on that road, so
Okay.
I'd be interested to see what they had to say as far as when that
Yeah.
what their plans were for when 202 was, because I know they have a master plan,
Yeah.
but that stuff changes,
Yeah.
just like the days change.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah, and we would meet with them, and
Yeah.
if it was determined that any site improvements needed to be done, then we would do that
Okay.
and analyze that.
and I had another thing. You were talking about the taking pressure off of the agricultural land outside the urban services area. Could you kind of go into how this actually relieves that pressure?
I think since it's at the hard edge of the urban service area, right, and that's been the city's goal to be the boundary of that, I think this further establishes that boundary that utilities and any public infrastructure should stop at this stage. So I think it establishes a hard barrier to that.
Okay. All right.
All right, anybody else? No? Oops.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to say, as you know, we're going to be segueing to making applicants carry the water when it comes to defending the application, and I'm going to appoint all of them to this presentation. I agree with the mayor, really well done tying it into the city's comp plan, strategic goals, vision. That was a case study. And also, I know that some of you watch the commission meetings. You know that the landowner has also agreed to work with us on 1.5 acres in the up northern eastern corner. You'll see that represented when we get to site plan development. Right, we're at a different stage of the process right now, so you'll see that level of detail. There's like 11 steps in this process, and we're at number 1. But I just want to say good job and publicly thank the landowner for working with us on that fire station.
Okay. You have any? Don't forget, we can bring staff back up if you have any questions.
The Gateway Overlay District, I know that this parcel, if it's going along with the one that's already been approved, I know that that is something that has been discussed a lot, and I did see where in the staff report it said it should be subject to the Gateway Overlay Design criteria, which I agree with, but I'm wondering if us as a board should say it must be, or, kind of tighten that language up, because I'm not saying you guys would do it, but I've sat up here on the dais as the commissioner, and I've seen where we've kind of let things go with loose language, and then things come back and they say, well, we didn't really want to do that. I think it would tighten that up. And if they did come back and say, well, this isn't really what we wanted to do, we want to do this, and we want your approval, well, you've already agreed to it. So that would be my one suggestion, is, that we kind of tighten that language up. But
If I may, the one thing that I would ask the board to consider with regards to the gateway overlay is that at this stage, it would require a 100-foot landscape buffer, which, given that the south gateway is already commercial, wouldn't be the most compatible to separate the two uses by a 100-foot buffer, in my opinion. So if that's something that the board is considering, just to consider that factor as well with the gateway overlay district.
Okay, question. Does that mean a buffer between the two properties also, or just from the roadway? It's just from 202, correct?
It's from 202, I'm sorry, 26 back. So they're already losing the 100 feet on the first property. We just want the whole, and we've already talked to the Hollies about it. It's going to be a cohesive development, so it will all be part of the gateway. The front piece will meet all the gateway criteria all the way back, and because I think it's gonna be owned, like the same owner through the whole thing, so, yeah.
Potentially, I think there's still discussions regarding that, yeah.
So there's a 100-foot buffer around the entire edge,
No, just across the front, but
just across 26.
Right.
things like the facade elements and things like that.
That'd
The
be-
staff is recommending that they kind of treat it like it's one property.
Okay.
My understanding, okay. All right, Ms. Yetter, you want to bring up the recommendation again, and we'll get a motion on the floor and take public comment.
Yes, and I just wanted to point out, there's more than just the buffers in consideration of the Gateway Overlay District. There are a lot of other design criteria like glazing, orientation of the buildings and entrances, parking lots. So it's not just the buffer, but other design elements as well.
Right. You want to bring the recommendation back up? We'll get a motion on the floor and take public comment.
Oh, sure, yes, sorry.
While she's doing that, what is the pleasure of the board?
You can certainly make a motion and include in that motion to tighten up the language and say, the B and Z recommends to approve petition, on condition that it is treated, the whole 50 acres is treated to the overlay district standards.
Is there a motion?
Now, just to clarify, because I'm not trying to tie anybody's hands down. I don't want something. I think we all want, with this being the gateway, kind of like the gateway business going in. I just want to make sure that those standards,
Yep.
if it's all going to be treated as one parcel, then that's I'm just worried about that. With that being outside of the.
I think if it's going to be treated as combo, it actually gives them more opportunity to be able to adhere to those without, affecting the potential of developing. Because like I said, I mean, you got a long skinny property, there's 100 foot already, of that taken up. So it's going to limit the possibilities for that property. And I would also remind the board, we're just an advisory board too. So we can't hold them to anything. The commission will ultimately have to do that, but.
I'd just like to add, this is the land use. We can get more in detail on the overlay for the rezoning, and then really into it when the site and development plan comes through. So right now, we're just trying to decide if it's good, if it's the best interest of the city to change it from ag to commercial on that back 25.
I'm going to motion to approve.
Okay. Ms. Parker, in a second, we have a motion moved and properly second. Is there any discussion from the public? Come on down. So we'll just, excuse me. You'll just introduce yourself. I'll put 2 minutes on the clock. You're going to see that little box have a green, and then when it gets towards your kind of landing your points, it'll start turning yellow and red if you're starting to run out of time.
Understood.
Make sense?
My name is Dr. John Anders. I live quite close to this proposed development that we're talking about. Live right off 6th Avenue, which is off 202. There is one question I've got to ask real quick. When was the change for what's called the gateway area to commercial? When was that done roughly? What year maybe? 2025. 2025, okay. So here's the thoughts that I have. We already have one section, which was agriculture, was changed to commercial, and it's right there on Newberry Road. I don't have too much problem with that, okay? I mean, Newberry's growing. However, this next 25 was just to the south of that, is one where I have issues. First of all, it was stated that we're taking relief off of rural areas. We're actually doing just the opposite, taking away rural areas, 25 acres, to be precise. Also, there's homes surrounding all of this. Most of them are just to the south of this area, there's 25 acres. And then to the east, you have many more homes that are there. Now I'm just a little bit farther east of that. So the bottom line is that I'm not quite sure why 25 acres is not enough. You know, the 100 acres taken off, I just understood that now. But it seems like we're encroaching in on the rural area dramatically in this case. So as you go down 202, which you travel multiple times a day, I'm going to be faced with looking at these businesses are going to be growing. And also another question is, how many businesses are going to be in this, if it was a 50-acre parcel? How many businesses are we talking about? How much ingress, egress are we going to have from 202, which is going to directly affect the homes to the east and to the south of that? And also, just the mass amount of commercial activities can be done. So yeah, obviously, you get a situation where you want to build something, you have people nearby that don't. But I understand that. But this is just too close and it's encroaching too far.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you, sir.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Ma'am, did you have a comment also, or are you together? We're together. Okay, all right.
Stays there.
Okay, all right. Any other questions from the board or of staff or the applicant? Seeing none, I'll actually do a roll call vote. Ms. Parker?
Aye.
Daniel?
Aye.
Jason? Bonnie?
All right, Melina,
Yeah, Daniel
board member
seconded.
Thomas made the second. Yeah.
Okay. Bonnie? Yeah. Mr. Walker? Okay. Motion passes. All right. And next is the companion small use, the rezoning. This is a quasi judicial petition, so we will move from being a legislative advisory to a judicial advisory board. And we're kind of in the process of trying to change up this procedure slightly, but Madam Attorney, I still want to read the quote. We still want to swear anybody in. We still want to do ex parte, and then we'll just move into the traditional order of things, correct? All right,
for
so
now, yes.
not much of a difference. This is just a petition at this point. So all public testimony will be taken under oath. Everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits shall be entered into evidence. The giving of opinion testimony is limited to experts. Closing arguments will be limited to the evidence of record. Madam Attorney, could you read the petition, please, for us into the record?
Yes, this is quasi judicial petition LDR 26-22, a petition of the City of Newberry, Florida, rezoning from agricultural A to commercial intensive CI on 24.98 acres, identified as tax parcel number 01922-011-000.
All right, Madam, you're gonna swear in?
I will.
Okay, go ahead.
If anyone is going to be presenting tonight, presenting testimony, if you'll stand, raise your hand, and I'm going to read a statement and ask you to swear or affirm. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Very good.
All right, and Sean will do ex parte disclosure of the property. Do you have anything you need to disclose? I don't. Jason?
No.
Okay, all right, and I do not either. Okay, so let's begin with staff's overview.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Let me just, I wanted to tell her.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Put me on the spot.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right, thank you. Lauren Yetter, Community Development. This is the companion rezoning for the petition that you just saw. That was the future land use change from agriculture to commercial. This is the companion rezoning from agricultural to commercial intensive, CI, for the same subject property. So the question under consideration is, should the Planning and Zoning Board approve the petition proposing an amendment to the zoning map from agricultural to commercial intensive? And so staff's recommendations to approve the petition, we find that the amendment's consistent with the comprehensive plan and the land development regulations. So same overview, it's the same subject property, approximately 24.98 acres. As the applicant's already described, it's bounded by 202nd, there's a county-maintained road and a collector, and pretty close to, within like almost 600 feet of a principal arterial, State Road 26. There's the parcel number. The applicant is here with Menadier Engineering LLC. And so the map on the left is with the current zoning district. It's agricultural, so you see it in the green. And the proposed is on the right, and it's that sort of brick color for commercial intensive. So again, we find that the request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and land development regulations. The proposed zoning is contingent upon the adoption of the future land use amendment, and it seems a logical extension of the commercial development that's already occurring along State Road 26 and adjacent properties within the USA or the urban services area. And again, with access and utility connections that are potentially connecting via the extensions through State Road 26 and through the southern adjacent 24-acre parcel, the subject property should be subject to Gateway Overlay District design criteria. That's staff's recommendations. And again, so the question is, should the Planning and Zoning Board approve the petition changing or rezoning from agricultural to commercial intensive? And staff's recommendation is to approve the petition. And the applicant is here.
Good evening again. Sergio Cruz, land planner with Menadier Engineering. I'm here for the presentation for application LDR 26-22, the companion rezoning for the North Gateway property. The request is to rezone 24.98 acres from agricultural to commercial intensive. The question for this application is whether CI is the appropriate zoning district to implement the requested commercial future land use designation at this location. The comprehensive plan specifically identifies CI as one of the districts that implements the commercial category. Commercial zoning, including CI, as shown on the maps, is already established along and near the State Road 26 corridor. The district also provides standards appropriate for the site of this size, including a maximum floor area ratio of 0.25. Per the previous presentation, this is more of the context of the site. Again, it is located within the urban service area, 600 to 700 feet from State Road 26, access from 202nd Street, County Collector Road, and near Crystal Lake Commercial, the Ag Food Tech Innovation Park, and Tanglewood Plan Development. Existing conditions similar to the previous presentation, under single ownership with the existing communication tower that will be master planned around, no wetland streams or creeks, gentle grades, and no identified wetlands. Wastewater and water infrastructure is located in the broader vicinity, but must be extended to the property. The zoning map naturally paints a very similar picture as to the future land use map shown previously, with commercial districts, including CI, already present along State Road 26. The request therefore extends the established zoning pattern by one parcel further north, rather than creating an isolated commercial district. Its location along the urban service area edge also creates a defined transition between, for the city's commercial corridor, and the property to the south is actually zoned commercial automotive. CI is appropriate because it implements the requested commercial future land use, and some of the other categories that could potentially go in this commercial designation are CN, CH, CG, CCBD, and CA. And CA and CI are the more automotive-oriented zoning districts, which is why we consider both of those. CG is more pedestrian-oriented and, would typically be found closer to downtown. CA is the more intense and is already the zoning district for the southern parcel. So naturally, we went with CI. This is slightly less intense, still automotive-oriented, but slightly less intense than the CA zoning district category. The district standards also keep development proportionate, in this case CI, where building area is capped at 0.25 floor area ratio, and the commercial land use category limits the impervious surface to 80% of the site. These are some of the potential anticipated uses and allowable uses within the CI district that include medical, offices, retail, restaurants, service establishments, and potential civic or institutional uses. There could be potential for mixed uses on this site, just a generally smart and thoughtful growth and master plan site, as we've been discussing. On the other hand, on the other side of the slide, we also show uses such as automotive service stations, bars, open air restaurants, recreational vehicle parks, and large scale retail. These are not necessarily uses that are being considered for the site. We simply wanted to show the uses that are allowed through a special exception, and to note that these uses, if proposed at the site and development stage, would have to go before the public again and have its own separate review. Manufacturing uses are not permitted by CI district and remain prohibited. Future development will be governed by the CI district and the city's broader regulations. Standards such as setbacks, maximum height, floor area ratio, and pervious surface area limits will be applicable. The site plan review will address buffering, parking, lighting, access, stormwater, traffic, and also in terms of stormwater, no increase in the post-development runoff naturally. Staff has also indicated that applicable gateway overlay criteria should be addressed in the future site planning, particularly if access or utility connects through the southern property. Compatibility is managed at the edges of the subject's property. Again, the south adjoins to the commercial site, the west adjoins to Destiny Community Church, and the north and east have more rural properties. The northern boundary is the most sensitive because it is adjoining the agriculturally zoned and residentially used properties. Naturally, a landscape buffer will be provided at the north, west, and east boundaries, and depending on whether it is master planned together or not, to the south buffer the south boundary as well, with final width, plantings, and design being confirmed during the site development stage. Lighting, noise, signage, and operations will also meet the city standards, and these measures will provide an appropriate transition from while retaining the detailed review until the actual uses and site plans are known. Again, on this map, we show the approximate locations of the utilities. The impact analysis, similar to the future land use presentation, using the 272,000 square foot maximum potential development. As noted, the no public facility is projected to fall below the adopted level of service, whether it's roadways, utilities, or stormwaters, and will be confirmed at the site and development stage. Staff, during their review, offered no objections to the rezoning and find that contingent upon the adoption of the companion future land use amendment, CI is a logical extension of the commercial entitlements and zoning already established within the USA. Staff further finds that the petition is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan and the land development regulations and recommends approval. So thank you, and if you have any questions, please,
Fantastic, thank you very much. Is there any public comment at this point? Seeing none. Is there anything that we needed to cross-examine staff or the applicant of, vice versa? No? All right. I'll bring it back to the board then. Is there any questions for staff and or the applicant? Go ahead, Daniel. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I've got
Go ahead.
of staff. Sorry, with the neighborhoods, with the homes being so closely located to the northern and the eastern sides of this location, my concern would be these large type of commercial intensive businesses being in that location and affecting their peace, right? So my question really is, with the designation for the CI, can you help me understand why we're choosing something along those lines instead of, say, our commercial highway or our commercial general that may fit into that category if it's going to be, if you could pull the slide back up, the retail offices and the things of that sort that you had mentioned into the businesses. I feel like those
this slide?
uses could still be a little further back, a little further back. The anticipated uses that would fall more in line with our commercial, the general, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, remember that commercial intensive CI also includes all uses under commercial general as well.
Right.
And with parcels this size, 25 acres, they're pretty large, and with potential offices, businesses that are proposed, they're more automotive oriented and less pedestrian oriented. So it seems like an appropriate zoning district request. Especially with the
Automotive,
CA.
automotive being the way that you get there, not necessarily like car dealer.
Right. Yes. Sorry, yes.
Just for sure.
Yes. Yeah. And then, of course, the southern parcel was approved 2025 last year for commercial future land use and CA, commercial automotive, which is more intense than CI already.
Mr. Mayor, I was just going to add that it's difficult for staff to say, we need you to treat this 50 acres as one parcel and plan it that way, and then say, but we're going to give you a different zoning, different pieces of it. So all of the actual end-up uses still come back, right? So we're talking about the zoning package right now, and the things that scared everybody on the southern parcel all have to come back again, right, under special exception. So I think from staff's perspective, one, the applicant comes forth and says, this is what we're asking for. We said, well, we think it should work better as one piece. If it's working better as one piece, it should have the same zoning package so that staff's not trying to figure out, oh, well, you've got, that building comes a foot over onto this property and that's not zoned for that foot, right? That kind of thing. Just logistical problem.
Well, if that was the case, why are we not asking for commercial automotive here, just like we are at the front building, or the front property?
So staff didn't ask for this, the applicant did.
Right.
We thought it would be better to go from a way more intense, which is CA, to CI, going near the neighbors, in the discussions that we had in prior to these meetings. So we didn't want CA being right up on the residences, because that is one of our, if not our, most intense zoning district.
Yes, sir.
I see what you're talking about, because, I mean, let's say they're there for 20 years and then they sell that property, they still have those zoning rights. And if they want to knock it down and, put up an automotive service station, then you'd have that right next to a neighbor. So, I see why you guys went that way, and I commend you for trying to make sure that we take care of not only the applicant, but also the neighbors around them.
All right, if there's no further questions of staff or the applicant, do you feel necessary to make a final argument before we entertain a motion or anything? Seeing none, if there are no further discussion, is there a motion from the board?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, beep, beep. Madam Attorney, could you advise the board of the decision-making body, the applicable law and factual finding, excuse me?
Yes, you all, in making your decision, should determine whether it meets the code or the comp plan as presented to you based on the testimony that was provided both verbally this evening and the backup materials that are in your agenda packet.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. With that advice, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Motion passes. All right, we have no more number 4, the public hearing and ordinance portion is taken care of. We have no item on the agenda. Any topics for discussion from the board? And I'll start with Mr. Walker down at the end. Anything? No. Ms. Bonnie? No. Jason? No. Mr. Daniel?
Country Way is having an event this weekend for Back to School Bash. So if you're in the neighborhood, feel free to come on out, 4 to 8. And I do want to give credits to MLK for a wonderful event on Friday for the I think it was Swapped movie. My kids really enjoyed that, so that was a lot of fun. But
Super. Ms. Parker.
The Newberry Main Street Organization is doing their final splash day on Friday, starting at 5. We are in the parking lot behind Capricious in the cabinet shop. The fire department comes out and sprays everybody down, and we've got watermelon and treats and lots of stuff going on, and it is the last one, so if you want to join, come out. Oh, I had something else, and now I forgot. I'm horrible at that. The chamber is doing a supply giveaway at the Norfleet building at the same time. So if you're a teacher, go get some supplies for your classroom. And then if you got kids, bring them to the splash day right after.
Perfect. And the Newberry Community School will have its ribbon cutting on Friday morning at 10 a.m. Thank you for reminding us of the teacher giveaway on Friday for supplies for their classroom. The honored group from Destiny Community Church is having a back-to-school community closet. So any school-age children can come there, their parents, and get clothes, get bathroom supplies, all kinds of stuff. That'll be at Destiny Community Church in the Student Center from 10 to 2 on Saturday. And I feel like there's another church, maybe Church of Christ, that's doing a backpack on Saturday. I can't remember. But, Mr. Manager, can you talk to us about the new website? Because there's a calendar on it.
There is. So if you have not been to newberryflorida.gov, it's brand new launch, brand new website, same great information, but now on the very first page is a community calendar. You can click on a day, see what's going on. It also has links to all the community organizations that are up there. We hope that it is a more fluid and easy to use website, and we're very excited about that community calendar. We hear all the time, how was I supposed to know, right? Well, now it's right on the very first page when you go to the city's website. If you are not affiliated with the city, you can still put stuff out there. We have one form you can fill out. We'd be happy to advertise for you. If you're an already affiliated organization, then you can just put stuff right up there. Let Crystal Rushing know at the coolest email address in town. Her email is crushing@newberryfl.gov. So, and she crushes it every day. So send all your announcements.
I have something to add. The Fun for Gator Kids website also has a list of all the backpack giveaways. So if people are looking for ones throughout the county, that's a good resource.
Yep. Very good. Good point. Yeah. Kathy and her team doing a fantastic job with that website. Madam Attorney, did you have anything? Okay, fantastic. And the last thing that I was going to say is the early voting for anybody, Newberry or otherwise, that is an eligible voter in the county of Alachua. We do have the early voting site here at the Equestrian Center. So anybody can vote there from the 7th Friday through the 15th. And I think it's 9 to 6. Then it'll be closed on Sunday and Monday. And we will be going back to, everybody's got to go to their corners in their precinct for day of voting on the 18th to Tuesday. So everybody north of Newberry Road, that's effectively kind of in the city area, goes to the Norfleet building. Everybody on the south side will go to the Equestrian Center for the regular day of voting on August 18th. I think I covered everything. I think we've covered everything. Yes? All right, we are adjourned.
Thank you.